So it looks like the first thing that we need to do is the reading and approval of the minutes from the last meeting.
Don't think we have to read it out
Or
loud.
right,
We
no,
just have to
I'm
approve.
just going off the thing.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a pen and I'll sign this.
All in approval, say aye. It was just the three of us, so aye. Don't make fun of me for my lack of skills during this meeting.
That was 2 sets of minutes.
No, sorry.
Well, this might be the same page. We can wait on that, but I thought we had another set. Those will have to be signed, but we've signed them in our sanitation.
Oh, yeah. All right, so next thing on the agenda would be the report from Linda. Frank, you want to take care of that today?
Linda is unable to be here today, so I kind of step in for her. We passed out a list of your payables there to be approved, and we also brought you a couple of the normal financials that you usually look at that shows you what you've pretty well done for the month. And one thing I want to point out to your attention is the first page that we gave you there, which is the actual billings and collections this month. And as you'll notice, the billings for the entire month was 166.4. I got the glasses on, can't see. 166.499. Your collections were up to 229.293, which showed a major improvement, and that's from some of the back bills and various things coming through. So,
Great. Thank you. Greg, we're continuing our efforts there too.
Yes.
Of course, to make
Yes.
sure.
Morning, Rex.
More X.
Hey, Rex.
but like I say, the only other thing I have is the bills in front of you that you guys need to review.
Raymond, have we made any progress on our payables?
Well, the back bill is probably not a great deal, but we are holding our own now. It's looking much better, but as you can see, the funding is coming in, so it's helping on that. However, you know, the situation with we're looking at the back bills and how that's being set up, and
Sure.
trying to cover everything there.
Sure.
So.
I guess we can, since we're going over that part of it, talk a little bit about what we've been working on so that you guys know. I've been working with KIA on a potential loan to pay the payables that we have, to do a consolidation of all those so that the surcharge that was passed, can start taking care of those things, and then it'll allow us to set up a true budget for the water district itself.
Yes, and Greg, Jimmy, on the bank account, it's already set up for the surcharge for the money to flow directly into the surcharge, which will work towards those back bills on.
Perfect. So, Greg, we don't need to do anything right as far as going down there. Everybody's taking care of what they need to take care of. All that's good. So, all right. So, we're also working with Inez Deposit Bank on a variety of different options. We've been in contact with them as well on a loan structured multiple different ways. It's just whatever we can ultimately get to work out. So that process is going on. I have been pursuing the loans, and that's one of the things that we'll have to talk about today. We'll do that under additional business about allowing Greg and them to go down there and sign for those things. Raymond, you got anything else you need to go over?
No, that's all.
I'll make a motion on our, to pay these checks that sign the bills that we have. That's Raymond brought it up.
Okay.
Second.
Everybody approve, say aye.
Yeah.
Any opposed, say nay. All right. Okay, so if that's all, any questions for Raymond, for the rest of the board? No? All right, so next up will be Mr. Greg Scott with the management report. Greg?
Because we have prepared a general synopsis of everything that's went on last month. We just kind of touched on some high parts of it. You have a general outlining of it along with attachments. I personally think we've made great strides in trying to turn things around. If you have any questions, I'd be more than glad to attempt to answer them.
How we coming on that surplus property?
On what?
The surplus,
They've received an application on surplus.
yeah, the old trucks.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't. I went to see the judge, and he's agreeable to do that. And have you talked to any of the
I have.
magistrates?
I have, I talked to two of them, and so
They're agreeable also?
Yeah, but what they tell you,
Right.
private's one
I
thing,
got
what
you.
they tell you when they're up on the, you have to, no one can vote until it comes there.
When will they be doing that? When will they be going to a meeting?
Their next fiscal court meeting should be coming up pretty soon, but again, that's like this, it's gonna be a process, because they'll have to go through make motions to do this, and then they'll have to surplus it out.
We need to get that on their agenda then, don't we?
Yeah, it would be nice to get it on.
Who does
I
that?
don't know if you'd have to talk to the judge,
Secretary.
or secretary, and get that on there.
Who is that? Do you know, Rex?
Fraley. Teresa, yeah. They were pretty-
Oh, Teresa? Kelly secretary. Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's who would have to put it
All right,
on.
I'll talk to her.
But there are several cities that will be advertising bids.
So they just can't sign it over to us?
No, sir.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Okay.
They gotta go through a process.
All right.
Anytime your state funds comes in, there's just certain ways that you can get rid of things, and it must be done.
I wonder how they do that. I don't know how they go about doing that. Salvage it out or?
You have to actually advertise it bid. Nobody bids on it, then, so.
Okay, all right.
I don't know about it as far as donating it to someone. I don't know how.
Actually, you do have to put it up for bids usually. Now, there are some processes for some nonprofits and various things that you can go through, but it's basic procedures.
Okay.
You know, I'll walk you through that.
Okay, appreciate it.
All right. We do that for several things.
We will be working on that.
But we also, on aero equipment that we was talking about, that's what we'd have to do. Also, we have to.
I would like to ask the board to go ahead and start the process on those trucks we've got sitting down there. We need to get them on the property. They need to be gone.
Just have junk sitting around.
Yeah.
Just junk sitting there.
But once again, with those, you still have to go through the process of declaring surplus. You have to look at the possibility of bidding out. You'll also look at the process of whether any of these are attached to any of your outstanding loans. If they're attached to the outstanding loans,
You have to keep
collateral, you have to either keep them or get special permission from those agencies to release those. So
Would
there's
you guys consider going ahead and getting that process started?
Yeah, so long as they're not up for security. That's
Yeah.
for any outstanding loan.
We'll look, I mean, if you'll take that into consideration, we will research it and get back to you.
Okay.
Okay, I will make the motion that we start the process on these vehicles. We'll have to do a check on the,
To see which ones are
On the
already
titles, which ones?
associated, that's correct. And if they are associated with one of the outstanding loans, you'll need a special approval from the loan administrator to release those. At that point, you can't declare them surplus, and you can come up for
so following
advertisement.
following these restrictions, we need to do the research, and then at our next meeting, bring up the vehicles that we can get disposed of.
I can second that motion. Can I second that motion?
You can.
Okay. All that are in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Greg, you can go ahead and get started, or whomever needs to do that. Go ahead and get started. Seeing the report here, like the purchase order procedures and fuel procedures, anything you want to discuss, or?
No, not really. I would like to tell you guys that we are working on the raw water situation there, and kind of look to have that under control within 2 weeks. So maybe next meeting, I'll be able to give you some good news on that.
All right, anybody have any other questions for Greg? If not, we'll move on to Mr. John Mills for operations report.
I'm gonna skip down to the raw water, to go on what Greg was talking about. All of our guys out of the month of March, we went over there. We spent 4 days over at that station, cleaning and taking all the sand and the mud and everything up from the flood, cleaning the whole station out, and done a lot of work around the plant itself. It took us about 4 days, but we got everything cleaned up. We got the motor back on truck number 1 because we had it taken off because of the flood water. And we got it working. It was sent to Souls Electric, right out. Everything's fine. Everything works good as far as number 1 pump and motor. The number 2 pump was also installed. We don't have the motor for it yet, but we're waiting on that to get back from service pump, I believe. So, like I say, the station has been down now because the reservoir's full, but it's ready to pump water. We're just waiting on Greg to step in and try to get the water from the river into the station. So we've got a couple river pumps out, down right now, we just can't get to them. So we're looking at a new way to get water into the station so we can pump the reservoir. But all in all, we've been lucky because of rainwater, and it's kept the reservoir full. So it's everything's good right now as far as that is concerned. Through the month of March, I put together a few little things about our leaks that we've fixed. You know, we've had these are just the major leaks that we fixed. You know, we've had a 3-inch main out at Turkey. Old Route 3, we had a 3-inch. Old Route 3, we had a 20-foot section, a 6-inch split. The whole section split. Buffalo Horn, we had a 4-inch main out, and that main's been leaking for a long time because we've had trouble keeping water in Buffalo Horn tank for months. And now we've got that system tight. We don't have to keep very little water in the tank now because it'll stay in there a long time. Everything's good all the way down Blankenship and Yellow Creek in that area. We had a little 1-inch line out completely out in town. And the big one that everybody, I'm sure, seen on Facebook and everything was the one on Route 3, which was that 8-inch ductile. That makes several times that line has split. 4 times within a quarter of a mile, but we fixed it last, like 4 months. But, you know, you're looking at 350 pounds of pressure on that line. So, and that's on 8-inch ductile. Cold water, we found a major leak in cold water we've had for probably since back during the winter last year. We've been struggling in that area with our clear well up on the hill, and we found a 4-inch AC line that was into underneath an old drain. We got that fixed. We put probably 5 foot of line in that one. Holding the hills up on the trailer park at Develop, we lost, had a 3-inch main into, lost a lot of water. And then the big one down here at Evans Hardware, which we were down for, 7 o'clock that night till 3 o'clock Sunday. But the thing about it is the before that split happened, we had the plant shut down for 5 hours because we were full up on water and had anywhere to send it. So, all in all, we fixed a total of 17 leaks for the month of March, and those being our main ones. And we kind of had it estimated that we lost around 3 million gallons of water total, all those leaks. And that's the time that we know about the leaks to, getting the water and everything shut off of. But on a good note, we've had the plant shut down every day for 2 to 3 hours every day.
This is the first time in how long it's
I never seen that in 7 years. But
on the leak there with Evans Hardware, and from the time that the water was down, as the Warfield side never did lose
no,
its
we
water.
still have water in Buck Creek and Rock.
And
Now, that's-
usually, before all this, within 5 to 6 hours, it's always been, it runs out before it was running out of water.
Yes.
So a lot of the breaks and stuff we fixed during the spring, or in January, probably some that was the cause of that leaking like that. So that system's pretty tight over there now, because like I said, we never went without water with that system being off for as long as it did. That's the first time I ever knew that.
It means a lot over there. We've done a lot of work over there in the Warfield area and stuff, and it's paid off. But there were a lot of other zones that we never lost water in, and that was New Route 3, coming off the Otto Brown tank, never lost water. 645 zone was good, in the Buffalo Horn zone, The biggest problem we had was getting the water off in town. We've always struggled. Like I said before, at one point in time, you could never shut water off in town because there wasn't enough valves. Nobody really knows how the water, there's really no map on town. And we didn't expect, this was right in a 90 at Evans Hardware, and we didn't expect that. So, all in all, we had to shut the whole system down, and it took a while to get the water off of it.
Then you have to go get parts over C.I. Thornbury about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we went out to parts 2 different times. We just got into something that we just wasn't real, we didn't have the parts for. And we used a lot of those parts up on Route 3 that following week, or the week before that. And, but all in all, we had the water back on the next day, turned it back on at around 3. So, I know it was a major leak, but there's a lot of, good things out of that. We like to say we never lost water in a lot of places. So
that's improvement.
That's a lot.
it is, it's improvement that the plant's shutting down, 2 to 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
And, we've had 40 East pump station at Giovanni's, 40 West at the ballpark, our major pump stations, they've shut down. They shut down a couple of times a day, for an hour or so at a time. So, all in all, things are looking a lot better. I've already touched on the raw water, the Bella pump station, the one that we pump to the airport. We're pumping all we can up there. We are being held up right now. We've got a PRV that we're waiting on at Holden Hills Trailer Park, and we really can't pump anything up there until we get that one fixed. So we're up. C.I. Thornburg's coming in this week with that one. Last thing I want to talk about, which is a pretty important thing, is this is about the water plant. Like I said, we've been shutting the plant down. You'll see we've got the HAAs, and this is our report that we got from the state. Now this covers 4 quarters, and if you'll see, they've got a weird way of doing it. You look at 4 quarters, you would think that January through December of 2017. Well, they don't do that. they always keep a month, they're always a quarter in the next year. So, if you look on our 2 testing sites on, our HAAs, the maximum limit that you will get a violation for is .06. Okay, we were on the, if you see on here in 2017, which is actually the second quarter, but it's the third quarter of 17. We were out both of those sites, and that's when we started. That's when we started our different points at the plant. We started putting chlorine on top of the filters, started injecting chlorine on the filters, and this is, if you see, the first quarter of 2018. I mean, it takes a couple of quarters for this to start working, but the levels are just unheard of. I mean, this is something that we've never seen before. So, I mean, .019, and you know, .06 is your maximum. .01, we've never had any numbers like that before. And then on our testing site number 7, we've never had a .02 before ever. So, and our average, if you take those, the three different times in 17 and our first quarter in 18, you know, you can see our average out here is .03, .04. So we're way under it. And that's with having the couple bad quarters on there. So, you know, Tom's never seen numbers like that before, and he was really tickled to death about it. And that's just HAAs. If you'll see on the other pages, the THMs, it's basically the same thing. We've been out of compliance, you know, and you know, like the first quarter of 18, the maximum limit is .08 on your THMs, and we're on a .01 on both testing sites. So, you know, we just never seen numbers like that. And we've been injecting at different places in the plant, and it seems to work. So,
Once again, improvement.
that's big. So we've never seen numbers like that.
This comes from the state.
Yep. So, anyway, we're doing good.
That's the old food.
Yeah, we're going.
Raymond's got one.
Anyway, all in all, I mean, we've had kind of a bad month in the month of March, but on top of that, we've made some really big improvements. So,
It's good, John. It's good to hear.
I've had raw water in here with me a couple of days last week, and we're been trying to work on a few things and trying to get this water loss report. He's been working with Greg, and we're just trying to figure some stuff out on that. I'm not real comfortable with it, neither is Greg, but we'll get things lined out. You know, we've never shut the plant down like this before for this long period of time. So all of our tanks are full. So, and that's after fixing all these leaks, and we lost all that water. So I think we're doing just the best that I've seen us, especially with our testing, state testing. So that's all I have.
I'd like to address the board just for a second.
Sure.
I'd like y'all to take note of the monumental task that John and his crew have undertaken to do. Our system is old and dilapidated, to say the least. For his crew to accomplish what they've accomplished in such a short period of time is really unheard of. And what we as managers and so forth need to do is provide him and his crew with things to work with materials to work with. And although we're trying to do that, we're still falling short of the mark. So bear in mind that if we can get him stuff to work with, it's just hard to say what what he can accomplish out there.
John, we do appreciate all your work and your guys' work out there.
We're doing better.
We're doing the best you can.
We're doing better.
Seems that our improvement is slow and steady, but in the right direction.
It is.
And as long as we keep going that direction, I think we'll be okay. All right, good deal. Anybody got any questions for John? All right, if not, we'll move on to the Big Sandy ad projects. PD, is that why you're here, brother?
No, I'm really here to meet with Greg.
Oh, okay.
But I need to do the contract.
I got it yesterday.
Yesterday.
So what I guess the project invoices is that what we discussed yesterday, Greg, on the conference call. So we had a conference call yesterday on the first grant, the 1.25 million. Made our second conference call, kind of get an update on where that is. So Greg, you kind of correct me, and you were on that call too.
Yes, I was.
So if I say this just right, correct me. Really, two good things came out of that, I guess, that we found out is we're pretty close to, I guess, Kentucky Engineering. It's basically too far gone at this point to change engineers, so Kentucky Engineering will be our engineering company for this particular project. They are ready to bid it out. All right, what I'm saying, they're getting ready to go into the bid process.
30 days.
30 days.
30
All right,
days.
30 days, they'll go into the bid process. I think if I remember correctly, they asked us to make a motion that Greg be able to sign, Greg, the chairman, be able to sign the agreements that will come down from ARC. Right? Am I saying that
Yeah,
right?
they've got a couple contracts come down, Jimmy, if I may. The way I understood it, they've got a couple contracts that'll be coming down in relation to the 1.2 million. And, in moving the contract along, so we don't waste time
Right.
on the weather that we may have, I could get a motion from the board to sign these contracts as they become available. Can you tell me, will they need more than one signature, PD?
I'm really not sure. I mean, I would go ahead and make you and John both able to sign it just in case it was.
Okay.
So we'll need a motion for.
What's these contracts on?
This is on that 1.2
Yeah,
Now,
million.
no, but what is the two contracts, who are they for?
Well, one will be with ARC to actually administer, to actually give us the money.
The
Okay.
engineering,
What's the second one?
And the
And
second
then the ad
one
will
is for
oversee.
the ad to oversee that
Big
money.
Sandy will
Big Sandy, yeah.
oversee it.
Okay, I
The
want-
money will not be coming to Martin County Water District.
No, it'll come to an
I mean,
account.
Will.
but It goes to an
Account.
account, but we don't.
But
We'll handle,
They will be
we'll handle the
dispensed.
payments and all that stuff.
Right, they're gonna oversee the grant for us. I think that's important for our citizens. That's one of their major concerns,
Yeah.
is how the money has been handled in the past, and we wanna make sure that there is
It's
no question
that
of
is,
how things are gonna happen going forward.
So do we relinquish any and all decision-making power we have about this
No.
money and turn it over to Big
No.
Sandy? or-
No.
Okay.
They just oversee the actual funding itself, you know, when they're
Well,
writing the checks and those things.
the actual
We-
decisions
ability to-
and stuff on this grant has been decided,
Yeah,
as far as what's going to happen, has been decided when they issued the grant.
Yeah, it was before we got here,
Well,
so.
I don't think, unless I'm mistaken about something, I don't think we need to make a motion to allow them to do that. I think John has apparent authority legally to already sign those, and I think Greg does too, as general manager.
I don't know,
mean,
this is what they suggested to us in the meeting yesterday. was to make a
You have
motion
to
to
make
that.
a motion to allow them to give the signature.
Well, I'll make a motion,
To
we'll
sign
do
the
it.
two grants.
I'll
Yeah.
second it.
Just keep it clean.
Yeah, just to make sure there's no question. That's what they advised us to do yesterday. So if you made a motion, you seconded, all in favor, say aye. All approved, say no. Not in favor, say nay. All right, guess that motion carries so that Greg and John will be able to sign each of the contracts, and one from ARC and the Big Sandy ad as well.
I understand Jared's hesitation because he probably hasn't been on the conference call or.
Well, I just know a representative of Martin County Water District, John or Greg, can already enter into contracts on our behalf. So I I didn't
I just
understand.
think it's kind of a good idea, though, that the board approves most anything major to that next year.
Yeah, it was, that's what they suggested, so we were just kind of.
It just,
what they
you know, if you
had
do it out,
suggested.
you know, then that just, everybody's aware of it.
All right, so the second thing that came from that meeting yesterday, and I feel comfortable enough to at least tell you guys this, is apparently rural development has reached out and they want to give us more money. So that is very, very preliminary, but they reached out to Heitzman and said that they want to help. And so they're going to, look to give us more money. It doesn't sound like a loan. It sounded like they were talking about a loan to you guys. It sounded like.
Talking about Doug Hall?
Huh?
Talking about Doug Hall?
Yeah, whoever that was, just what they were talking about yesterday.
Yeah, we met practically all day. I was under the impression that they would be open to something like that.
Yeah, they reached
But
out to
first,
Heitzman.
he's gonna jump us through some hoops first.
Okay, and so there's some potential there for more
Right.
money in addition to the 1.25 that we've already been awarded and the bigger grant that's coming down the road for the intake. So, and I think what we talked about yesterday on the conference call was hopefully being able to work on main lines where we're going to be replacing all the service lines so that it's clean from the service lines to the mains. I'm talking about stuff I don't know a whole lot about, but it sounds good when I say it. So, but then continue on hopefully over into Lovely, where we know we have bigger issues with the lines, and hopefully continue to work on service lines through that area. That's where we think we have the biggest water loss issues, is in the service lines over there. We think that'll really help the system. So that was good news, or I thought it was. So.
Getting back to that, let me clarify. Let me try to clarify. I asked him, did you bring your checkbook? He said, no, not at this time. He said, but I'm not totally opposed.
Yeah.
So he said, we've got to develop a relationship first.
Yeah. Well, Heifman said he reached out to him and said, hey, let's, we want to help. So I think all the coverage,
Yeah.
I mean, it just, it makes people in other places say, all right, maybe we better go help this because it's got national exposure. So with the CNN piece and the other things that have been going on. So well done to everybody.
A few are willing to stretch forth the olive branch and kind of help us a little
Yeah,
bit.
it sounds like it. So hopefully, but I was pretty happy when we got the call yesterday that we're going. So it looks like that $1.25 million project will start fairly soon. Hopefully in July is when they hope to maybe actually get started. So
Now, the contracts will be awarded, I mean, we'll not be doing this project in-house.
no, they will not let us do it because we asked.
Because it's federally funded.
Something else they brought up, John, not to interrupt you, but something that just come to my mind. Something else they brought up was that you guys may need to take into consideration the possibility of doing multiple contractors, up to 3.
They think they can get a better bidding, maybe a little
Better
bit
bidding and a
competitive,
quicker.
and then get it turned around.
Get it
much
turned
quicker.
around quick.
Yeah.
Which is what the PSC wants. They want to see us try to bring our water loss. It's just good business to bring our water loss down. You can't have a viable business when you're dumping half your product into the ground.
No.
So the quicker we can bring, those numbers down, the better off we'll be. And I didn't think that was a horrible idea. I mean,
No.
try to split it between
No.
3. I didn't think that was a horrible idea at all.
Get
So,
it done.
Let's get done and go on.
Going back to just with John, shutting down the water plant for 2 hours, how much water do we use in 2 hours' time? Did we use the pump? Is that
Pump where to?
just pump out of the plant?
I don't know, we'd have to look at the meter up there, but
But if you're shutting it down 2 hours a day, I mean, you're saving.
It's electric.
X-
It's all kinds of
X-
stuff.
it's a lot in chemicals and power.
So I think that's a good.
And if I'm right too, Greg and Raymond, when we were talking yesterday, if we can go ahead and get this grant done and get the work completed, then we have the opportunity to apply for another one in a certain timeframe. So that's what we're trying to meet those timeframes so that we can go ahead and apply for some more money. And do a similar thing, continue, I think, up Lovely and 292 to address the water loss issues.
But now this grant only covers service lines.
Service lines only, new
Meters.
Until we get the meters where you can literally drive by, I think with a computer meter, is that right, Mary? You can drive by with a computer and it actually reads the meter.
And the line is going to be the poly line.
Yeah.
That should last.
Let me ask you about something else. This is not on the agenda, so I don't know if I'm allowed to deviate from it or not. Am I?
No, we can't deviate from it, no, okay.
Okay. No? Okay.
No. For Mr. Jared, so, all right,
You can bring it up in new business.
okay.
In new business.
In new business, in additional business, Craig. we can do
Okay.
that. All right, so do we need to do anything else as it pertains to the $1.2 million grant? The primary thing was to make sure that we had a motion for you and John to be able to sign any paperwork regarding the two.
Yes.
The
grants.
John being John Horn,
John Horn, yes, not Mr. Benson.
or John Henson.
Yeah,
There's
right,
3 Johns on this file.
that's right.
Just clarify.
Do we have any reason to go into executive session for any personnel to sit? I mean, we don't.
Not this time.
All right, so additional business, the first thing I want to make sure that I bring up is we do need to make a motion for Greg to be able to go, because we had done it previously for Joe to be able to go apply for a loan, but we've never done it for Greg, so just to make sure that everything's clean, I want to make a motion, or I need a motion made for Greg to be able to go and apply for a loan for our accounts payable. Can I get a motion on
I
that?
will make a motion.
Can I get a second? Okay. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. All right, so that carries. So Greg, I think, Brian, Linda's got some stuff ready, right? We just need to provide the minutes, I think was what we were
Yes,
missing, that Greg could apply.
yes, for the special account, for the surcharge to go into that special account. And what you're trying to do with the loan is pay those off, and because the PSC has to monitor every expense that comes out of that particular account.
Correct.
And so if the loan is set up, then it would be automatic, a withdrawal to pay the loan back.
And the basic idea for that loan is that whoever does the loan can collect their interest out of that account directly once a month, and then we'll set a certain time of the month where they can sweep it again to pay principal.
That's correct.
And that way, that pays off. And like I said, we will be able to actually provide a real budget. We can actually prepare a real budget for the water district. So right now, I think we're skating by our teeth, on a monthly basis, just kind of fly by the seat of your pants. But we can actually form a real budget and a real working budget. And as Greg was saying, be able to provide John and his boys with the material they need to do what they need to do. So
And the loan will pay off our outstanding.
it will absolutely pay off. It's all it's for. And then once that loan is paid off, that surcharge will go away. That's a good thing. So,
Yeah, that was unheard of, that the state would actually put a surcharge on. And I think this is the first time it's ever done.
yes, first time it's ever been done, I think so. But I like that idea better.
And it also, once the bills are paid off, the surcharge comes off.
Yes. So that's a good thing.
That's good.
All right.
That's
Do we
good.
have any additional business?
Yes. I would like for you just to put this in your head. We need a small tank somewhere up the belt, close to the airport, somewhere in that area, so that we don't have to run the kind of pressure that we're running on those lines up there, and have the problems that he's having with it.
Because that's the
The
issue
line
right now,
splitting.
is the pressure.
Running
Right?
350 PSI on there.
Close to, it's just.
What we need is another tank and another pump station somewhere located up through there. We gotta get with the engineers and get the hydraulics and stuff down. Not a huge tank, but a small one. Just something that we can pump into and pump out of. So we don't have to
How
run.
much?
Huh?
How much?
How much money?
Yeah.
I have no clue. Just want to get the process started. I want to get your all's direction so that I can start talking to RD or some of these other folks about funding something like that. But it is a definite need. The quicker we get it, the quicker we can address some of the problems that's up there. One is being pressing further.
Well, I'd make a motion that you look into that,
I can
and
second
bring
that
that,
motion.
Okay.
All in favor?
and bring that back to the board for discussion.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. Greg, you can go ahead and start looking into the cost for that.
I will.
All right, does anybody else have any? All right, so, anybody have any questions? Look, been waiting, been waiting. What do you got?
I know that this is not, it's not actually your all's project, but I'm wondering if you know about the water to the new school, about the situation with the water to the new school.
We know very little. We know that it's a physical court. I mean, this is a total physical court project. And once they do their job, then I guess it'll get turned over to us to, actually provide the
Do you
water.
know if it's a problem with easements?
I know, I can tell you right now, Nina, we had a meeting last week with Kentucky Engineering and some things, and we've got a route set now. We're going up the new 4-lane with both lines, sewer and water. And we've added like what the problem was is we're trying to figure out the hydraulics about taking water away from our major pump station up 40 East at Giovanni's. So and I think we've added a bigger tank up there on the where the school is. We want to try to make that industrial park and everything up there too, which is a good thing because that includes adding a little bigger sewer line and everything up there too that we needed. So we're just waiting right now for everything to get approved, and from Kentucky Engineering sent the email with how much it costs extra to go up the 4-lane, which that's the way it needs to go anyway. So it's just a matter of getting everything approved within the next month or so.
But the majority of the questions about that particular project need to be directed to the judge and the
I
fiscal
know,
court.
but I just wonder if you all maybe.
And John probably helped you out more than,
Yeah. But no, unfortunately, it's got
Well,
that.
it's good they got it going.
Yeah.
Like I said, it stands there.
The only
It's a better route that way anyway, for the water, and that keeps everything right there beside the road where it needs to be. And
We supply that demand, going that route.
we're looking at it right now. I mean, I voiced my opinion on it, but
If I'm not mistaken, we've got problems at 40 East anyway.
40 East is suction pressure.
If we put an additional workload on that, what is it, 8-inch line, John? On an 8-inch line, I just don't know if we're gonna have the volume. Of course, I'm not the engineer, but I don't know, it's something for you to consider. I don't know if we'll have the volume to be able to handle all of that
But
stuff.
I know the Corps of Engineers originally just that idea.
Well, we're looking at, I voiced my opinion on it, and, we're just gonna have to see what, it's kind of, they were supposed to, engineering companies run the hydraulics on the process, so, which also, I mean, if it does go that route, it gives us kind of an option to get a bigger line down towards the plant, later date.
I understand.
So, I don't know for sure, I just know that we're losing a lot of water, from town to 40 East somewhere or another.
You seen what?
But you, Ms. Boyd, just go see Kelly and those guys. I mean, that's the best thing you can do on that, to find out what's going on. Anything else?
I have a question.
Sure.
I want to help you all out if I can get y'all's lesson. The reservoir has like lighters, rubber gloves, batteries, meat packs, beyond rubber gloves everywhere. It's gross. Is it all right with you all if I organize a community cleanup and help you all by cleaning all the trash from the reservoir?
It probably is. I would love for you to do that. Could we talk to Brian and make sure there's no liability in case someone slips or falls, or I don't want someone to drown and then sue the water district. But if I could talk to Brian and get back with you, I'll email you myself. What's your email?
It's lowercase BARBI MAYNARD 39@gmail.
That's a great idea, Barbara, if you can make that happen. Like I said,
Well,
we just need to
if I
check
get
and make
y'all's
sure we know.
blessing, then I'll start weather's warming up, and when, it'd be the best time when the water levels are a little bit lower, because you can get.
Look, I'll tell you what, if everybody in your crew would agree to sign a waiver, I think that I
You
could
can
have,
write me up.
I could have Brian do that. But again, I'll defer to his expertise. Thank you so much, that's a great idea.
No problem.
Question on your way.
Well, I do, but this
Oh,
one's something.
Sure. Anything else?
No, that's all I was going to do.
Okay, Mary, go ahead.
I just wanted to get a sense from you all, how much you've been talking to Bob Bocock since he was at that meeting.
I've
back-
had multiple conversations with
Okay,
Bob.
so you all are.
I talk to Bob, we're Facebook buddies now, and,
Okay.
I mean, I talk to him usually at least once a week. It depends on what he's doing. As far as history, he's obviously a busy man, so he travels a lot, but he and I talk pretty often. I'm just seeking his counsel about some things, just various things.
Get back to what
Count down there.
Barbara talking about. That day, if you let them know about a week or so ahead of time, I'm on the rescue squad. If needed, I can have a boat up there with them.
Okay. Wow, even better.
That's great, thank you very much.
Fantastic.
No, I think it's a great idea.
Thanks, man.
Well, if we all work together, we can get a lot further, a lot faster. So,
Absolutely.
This is our community.
Just let me know ahead of time, and I'll keep, put a boat up there and just follow them around the bank.
There's several, but we still got 3 people, so. All right, anybody else got any other questions? Because Jared's got to get out of here, he's got work to do, so. All right, so with that, I need a motion to adjourn the water board meeting. All right.
Second. I assume we're all in favor.
We still got a.
I'm gonna get your number.